What's up, guys? My name is Zbricks, and welcome back to the Zbricks Podcast Show Season 2. My name is Zach, and I'm going to be your host. The Zbricks Show is a show where I interview different YouTubers in the online LEGO community, whether it's through YouTube or different social media platforms. And today I'm going to be interviewing Maniac4Bricks. So how about you tell us a little about yourself and your channel, Joey?
Hello, everybody. This is Maniac4Bricks, or as other people know me as Joey. So yes, that is Joey. I've been a lifelong fan of LEGO at 25 currently, and still going very strong with it. And I've always embraced all kinds of things that the community has done. I've been part of it for 8 years now, met lots of people that have come and gone at different points and tried all kinds of things. I always like to experiment with those myself just to see if it's something I could get into, or just to see more of the experience behind what other people do and get to enjoy how they present themselves.
Awesome.
But most of the time, sorry.
No worries. Keep going. I thought you were done.
Time, I would say that on my content, I am more often than not doing some kind of collecting, reviewing, or sharing LEGO facts and trivia. I've over time of growing with my passion of LEGO, I've enjoyed all kinds of things, new, old, popular, obscure, and if it has a little word LEGO on it, I'm gonna look at it.
How about we start with some starter questions? How about when did you first start building with LEGO?
So when I was growing up with LEGO, it's pretty recent. I was born in 1995. I have an older brother, about 2 years older than me, and sometime later I would have a younger sister that's 6 years younger than me. For my first experiences with LEGO, I can't remember too much about them, except for little bits here and there. Being a younger brother, I'm bound to get hand-me-downs from any sort of thing my older brother has already done or played with. While he was still playing with LEGO, we both played together for many years. Some of the first LEGO sets I had were most likely his Duplo, because I had a small amount of Duplo I was able to play with, get familiar with building, and move on to system. Building with him and playing together. When he left off with LEGO, I would actually start playing with my sister. She enjoyed it. We'd build our own stuff too. And then she left off from it, but all the while I was still learning it myself, and I basically became the LEGO man of the house, almost of the family at this point.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. So how about we go on to another question, and that is, when did you really enter the YouTube community, and what really brought you to become a YouTuber, a LEGO YouTuber, and stuff like that?
So, I almost feel old talking about this, but I remember the early days of YouTube, rate 5 stars, the old format of a channel. You could lay out your entire channel page, customize it. It was very cool. The first LEGO video that I watched, 2005, 2006, I was in 5th grade, was a LEGO stop motion of Grand Theft Auto, a game I've never played up to that point, and it was something that my friend was showing me in computer class. But it was a lot of fun, just seeing how the LEGO figures were animated, and seeing that it's on a platform that anybody can upload to was fantastic. I would watch a bunch of those videos for years, until about, I want to say, 2008, 2009 or so, when I met this little known channel, some of you might still heard of, called The Zbricks Show.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started watching them for LEGO reviews, and got to learn about LEGO news, and that there's a community, and that there was more people out there making content on the regular, and all kinds of videos, even showing the things that they've built, which was fantastic. So I started July 1st, 2012, making my own stuff, where I'm like, you know what? I want to share a bit of my experiences or my perspective on these things, or some of the things that I built, which up to this point, I would basically build, take a photo, take it apart. It wouldn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. Sometimes it would go on the LEGO website where they had a club page. Again, personalizing it and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was a lot more accessible to do it on YouTube, as long as I know how to use a camera and some basic video editing software that YouTube used to run, which was it was good as a startup.
Yeah.
Not a thing to thrive off of. Even your biggest Lego YouTubers have used it at some point. I still remember Just Do Good videos with news using the same YouTube editor software, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I just kind of grew from there, just getting a little bit of inspiration from other people, trying things out myself, trying a little bit different tech over time, or laying things out differently on camera, getting used to being on camera. I was also, around that time, in middle school and into high school, I was getting into theater, which is very helpful for me being able to speak thoroughly and think about what I'm saying before I put it out there and present it to somebody, beyond like the book report, that you would have in a classroom.
Yeah.
So it's very helpful in that aspect of trying to either inform or entertain.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing.
I just had a stutter there.
No worries. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I've actually noticed quite a few similarities based on what you said between my Lego journey and yours. My first Legos were hand-me-downs, I believe. My parents could probably tell you the full story, but they were from neighbors. I remember one day they came by with a Tupperware bin with a white lid, similar to this one right here on camera.
Right.
And they, I remember it had a mix of like Lego bricks, and it didn't have any minifigures or anything, but Lego bricks and the little Mega Blocks. I remember specifically, vivid memories, for some reason, of this little purple Mega Block Lego. And I couldn't figure out why it was not the same plastic as the other ones. So that was my first memory of different Lego companies. And I really find that interesting. It's one of my first Lego memories. But
when I was younger, I definitely grew up with not just Lego, but Mega Blocks, Connects, BTR, which stood for Built to Rule, and even like the dollar store kind of bricks, because at the end of the day, I was still building. It didn't matter that much to me unless they couldn't actually like click with each other.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to look at it very carefully like I would nowadays, unless I saw the old Mega Blocks. They definitely had problems with coloring. They were not always.
Oh yeah.
Very faint, ugly looking yellows at times, or white. The bright colors didn't always work that well.
Yeah. I could definitely tell that with the purple bricks. But, like you said also, you started watching The Zbricks Show as one of your first few YouTube channels. And that was the same with me. I watched Zbricks Show. And now, when I was younger, there was a YouTube channel called Artifacts Creations who did the stop motion.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
And I don't think they do content anymore, unfortunately, but I love the style where it was kind of like the pictures would fade together, and it was kind of like it was so unique as a concept for stop motion animation. And the builds were never done by the instructions. They were done in the cool format. They didn't follow the exact steps. It was pretty awesome.
It was almost more comprehensive watching those than by reading the instructions, because it evenly flowed from one side of the build to the other of what was how it was all coming together.
Yeah.
I definitely like that style where it was not stop motion but felt close enough to be stop motion technically, just because of those fades. I love those videos, especially for something I haven't already obtained.
Yeah.
And they don't really make content anymore. From what I'm looking at, the last thing they uploaded was 2 years ago, which is incredible.
It's really unfortunate that they stopped. I don't really understand why they would have. I don't think they were really ever there are a few Lego YouTubers that I don't think are really into the community interactions. I kind of wish they were, because I'm interested in their content and I'd like to talk to them, but it's hard to reach them. So, I mean, but
I've noticed that over time, and I've definitely seen people come and go through not just the community but the platform itself.
Yeah.
I've known people like Brick Raider or Friction Pin. I didn't know them all personally, but I was a regular follower of their content, and they either moved on to other things on YouTube or moved off the platform itself. Meta's Musings used to do a lot of. He did a good mix of between Lego content and tech because it was very tech oriented. But at some point, I didn't see any more Lego content from him, but I still appreciated his efforts in the community, like being a part of it. And Friction Pin was a great way of integrating people together because he'd build a lot of his own stuff, which was fantastic on its own. But he'd also encourage other people to be a part of it, to like build a certain subject on a weekly or monthly basis, and he would feature them on his channel.
That's
There's
awesome.
A thing called Frictionary.
That's really cool. Yeah, I noticed. I mean, some of my favorite Lego YouTubers right now are Zbricks, and there's a guy, I'm sure you've heard of him, called Austrian Lego Builder.
Right.
Yes.
I've heard of him. I've only watched a handful of videos. And Zbricks, I've actually really enjoyed his movements in the past couple months, being more adaptive to the community and having a lot more personality. He's always had personality. I'm not getting that part, but being more personable.
Yeah.
With everyone on a down to earth basis.
I love the live streaming and how he's interacting with the comments, and he'll have Q&A after parties, as he calls them. It's really nice. I don't know if I would call it opening up more, or if I would call it I don't know. I don't really know what to call it because it's really interesting. I just think that it's strange because I'm not used to this Zbricks, but I really like this newer quote unquote Zbricks and what he's been doing.
Right. It's a step in the right direction, and Beyond the Brick had a great interview with him about his overcoming some struggles at the end of 2019 in order to move into a better direction.
Yeah.
And it's something that I'm hoping that he'll be able to work with and thrive with, even being on camera more, because it was very rare back in the day he would ever show up on camera.
Yeah.
Or even in a vlog style, holding the camera like in selfie camera mode to show a Lego city or something that he built. Now, I'm not worried about it being all the time. It's actually a lot more inviting that way when he's talking about his opinion on something.
Yeah. It's pretty great to the interaction that he's been having, and I really like it. I mean, he's probably my favorite Lego YouTuber, which is weird considering that I've never really had any interactions with him. But it's just such good content, and I feel like that is the bar that is set in terms of video quality. It's just Zbricks. He goes over everything. He cuts the crap. He talks about his opinions. He gives the facts. And he doesn't go on and drill on. He goes through it quick, and it's nice and concise.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned things from him about real-world adaptations of models that I wouldn't have found otherwise.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoy those details, and I imagine other people do too. I don't know if we should talk about Zbricks the entire time because I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm better than him, not by a long shot.
Yeah, I know. I was about to break off into the next subject actually, which was
I was like,
yeah.
Let's save the recording first.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to you, because this is an interview about you, as we may recall. So,
yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So, what are some of your favorite Lego themes?
I can't lean into the microphone and make my voice suave and soothing for a spin around through a white backdrop.
But anyways, what are your favorite Lego themes? I know Adventures is one of them, obviously.
Yeah, Adventurers definitely has a lot of nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
It's something that I've been able to enjoy a whole bunch of sets from, always craved for more, and now as an adult I've had that opportunity to dive more into it. Speaking of diving, lots of Lego diving themes. games.
Especially operators, if I remember correctly.
I love aquatic life in general. I never studied marine biology, though. Probably should have done that in high school, but I've always been fascinated by it. It still fascinates me every chance. And in Lego form, it's always thrilling. Every one of them has their own way of telling it and improving some things over time, like the functionality, the posing of certain creatures, the shaping of the submarines. I think I've gone on a record. Someone will definitely quote me on this. I think I've gone on a record saying that Aquavators was my favorite theme. And while that is true, I do also like Atlantis. I like even the city diving themes are great.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the ones coming out this year.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
Even the old town diver theme, something that I've only briefly touched upon in my childhood and now trying a little bit more, has been very charming. And I also love, with that, just the style of the advertisements, which is weird to say. Like, why would you care? It's the fact that they actually built models, like dioramas, to create the atmosphere, to create these little vignettes of where the photography is going to go. I've read interviews about it, and dioramas have always been a thing I love doing in middle school, grammar school, so that's why I've really adapted into that, like, handmade craft work kind of thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, anyways, some of my favorite themes, obviously I like the stuff I grew up with is most nostalgic to me. It's so weird to me, because I hear, when someone says Lego nostalgia, the first thing that pops into your brain is something like classic space, adventures, all these things. But then you think about the T-Falls, the people of my generation, and it's like, the stuff that's nostalgic to us is Lego Indiana Jones, like the OG Ninjago.
Yeah, the first 2 years in Ninjago,
Yeah.
I've heard people being nostalgic about. That's the wonderful thing about nostalgia. It's very personal.
Yes.
It can be anyone's experience with it, no matter what age it is. And again, I really enjoy the way that they describe it or what they enjoy about it.
Yes. It's so awesome to hear people's childhood stories and their Lego journey stories where they talk about how they've grown up with this theme and now it's influenced them in so many ways and their builds. Like, it's so hard to look at the new Ninjago sets and think of them the same way as I do as the old ones, because I remember coming home from school in, gosh knows, 2011, 2012, 2013, on Thursday nights, going into my parents' bedroom to sit down and watch the TV for a 30-minute episode of Ninjago on Cartoon Network at 7 p.m. But it's really awesome to just look back at what Lego was then and what they've become now. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
They've improved in so many ways.
A huge span of time, like in the almost 80 years that it's existed, and all kinds of products and all kinds of outreach and themes, just different stories that they want to tell. To see even inside of a decade or even half a decade, the advances that they've made. I'm looking at old Lego sets in front of me right now, and I'm like, I know ways that could be built better or more fluently, because I'm now wired to that.
Yeah.
I'm now exposed to that, seeing it through the sets, how they've really put the pieces to their limit.
Yeah. It's awesome. I saw the other day, I don't remember who did it, but it was, and it kind of reminds me of the Haunted House too. Someone took an old, I think it was an adventure set, I'm pretty sure, and what they did was they recreated it with modern Lego pieces and modern techniques and designs. And they created, I don't remember if it was the, I feel like it was the, I don't remember what it's called, so I'm not.
The Sphinx?
It wasn't the Sphinx. I think it was the, the big set that came with the elephant.
Oh, Scorpion Palace.
Yeah, yes, Scorpion Palace. I saw someone recreate that the other day, and I'd have to find out and tell you.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
It it was really cool to just see how people have used the new parts. I think they used the for the top, I think they used the hot air balloon pieces, but I don't remember. I would have to go back and look again or something. But
Okay.
It was really interesting to just see how Lego is improved, but then again, if you're super nostalgic for something, you may not say it's improved. It's just different than what it was.
Yeah, that can happen.
But I guess that's the beautiful thing about nostalgia is it really is, like you said, a personal thing. It's what you believe, and no one can really change your nostalgia.
Exactly.
And not many people out there, I've heard people bicker about opinions and stuff. I don't want to get into that sort of thing on this show. But, I've never really seen anyone on the internet. Now, I have not been on the internet super long, or on social media or YouTube, but I haven't really seen people fight over nostalgia very much. And I think that's because people have a mutual understanding that you can like different things online or in old things, and no one can really change that. And I think people just understand that, and that's awesome.
In the context of Lego, I can definitely agree with that. I'm running it through my head on all other kinds of things where it gets to be a gray area.
Yeah.
And usually it's because the new version of it is not as good as the old one because of X, Y, Z. It changes drastically if it's about a video game, movie series, TV show. Again, it's something I don't want to get into right now, but
yeah.
It's definitely like, I'm glad that among Lego fans it's a little more universally understood because we're not just building one set. We're building a bunch of sets, and we're learning from that to build on our own to see, like, yes, this is actually improvement, and this is actually a smart way of using these pieces.
Yeah. That's what I love about, like the old Lego pieces are really interesting to go back and use, because there's so many colors and parts that were put out of, they don't make them anymore.
There's a purple they no longer make.
Yeah, the sand purple.
That I can think of.
Sand
Something
purple.
very close to magenta, I believe.
They used a color for Zam Wessel, the original Zam Wessel.
Yes.
But they don't use
Sand
that anymore.
purple.
They don't use it anymore. And
Exactly.
I find it really interesting. I have that character, and I looked it up on Bricklink, and there's only like 11 parts ever produced in that color. So it's...
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like that color, to be honest. I've done some of my Lego drawings with parts in that color. I think it's a cool color, but it is kind of an ugly color. So, don't blame them.
The early 2000s had a lot of sand colors that were awesome to use, especially at the same time with each other. Look up Life on Mars for a real good taste of it. Sand blue, sand red, sand green, and sand purple all at the same time. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And fits for that environment. But I think the reason why that happens with Lego colors is one of several factors. They can't use it in a proper way for a lot of parts. Like, manufacturing-wise, it just won't work. Lime had a problem with that every so often with Bionicle pieces, which is another theme I forgot to mention, but I still really love.
Yeah.
Lime would have that problem with certain joints, and it was very brittle. So it was very easy for them to break at the time of release, and even finding the sets nowadays, even if they're brand new out of box. Reddish brown tends to have that problem every so often. Even the standard blues and reds, just every so often, and it's definitely been better over time, like quality control wise. There's either not enough pigment or something wrong with the mixture that they don't always produce the right way. You'll even see that sometimes they're off red or off blue. Brickstar's done a fabulous video about that. But with colors like those, like sand purple or sand red, why wouldn't they make those anymore? It's probably just a matter of not finding a good use for it, or having having it used expansively. Teal was something that they had for a very, very brief time, and basically had the decision of, okay, we're going to knock a few colors down. It's between teal or some other color, and they went with that color, and teal was gone for a while.
Yeah.
But it's good that they brought it back because it really had a lot of ways to use it and adapt it to all kinds of things.
Yeah, I love it now.
After that.
Yeah. I love the new colors they brought in, but like you were saying with quality control, if you want to hear a color that has bad pigmentation, dark red. Oh, it's bad.
Oh yeah, dark red.
My whole
I
bin is just, it looks like different colors in there. They're all dark red.
mhm.
It's just crazy to see what a little bit of color differentiation can make in a model.
I've I'm sure that it's basically based on like how it's produced or whatever mixture goes into it. I'm not familiar with the injection molding process to a T, but I just know um, there's a chemical involved. There's a certain mixture, and you know if you get a little bit off, it's like cooking. If you don't have the right amount of eggs, or you use a tablespoon less, then you're not going to have the same thing that you want.
Yeah.
So it most likely is going to have something like that happen with these different colors and pigmentations of things. I'm worried now because I actually do realize there's a lot of dark red things available in Lego.
Yeah, especially the hidden side set. I was talking about that and I was looking at it. What's the big school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I had many big problems with mine, but I mean, when you look at something like that, it's, I mean, if someone gets a bad batch of dark red in that set, that's not super great. But
Yeah, luckily with
yeah,
Hidden Side, Lego City, Pharaoh's Quest, older theme, but still had a lot of dark red to it. I haven't noticed any major problems with them. I've only had a handful of dark red pieces break compared to reddish brown, off blue, or lime. So I think I'm glad I'm in the clear, but at least they'll understand that, try to correct that, or be able to replace that, through customer service. Lego has excellent customer service, and I've only contacted them a handful of times, which is great on the fact that they're not always making a problem.
yeah.
And when they do have a problem, it gets resolved.
Well, speaking of brittle parts, during your haunted house live stream earlier today when you were talking about the dark brown plates that break easily?
Yep.
I kid you not, about 2 minutes after you said that, I had a dark brown plate snap in half while I was trying to take it off of a mock.
Oh no!
Look at this. You see on the bottom of this right here, my Half-Life mock, I have some dark brown, or some brown plates, right?
That looks like reddish brown.
Yeah, reddish brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was moving those things, and right as you said that, I had a plate snap, and I was like,
Oh man, I hope
it was
didn't jinx you.
it was a 4x8, and I only had 2 of them at the moment, so I had to resort to doing something different. But
Man.
I see that a lot with the reddish brown, and I see it more with dark green plates actually. What do you do when you have a piece that breaks? Do you keep it or do you throw it away?
I think at one point I used to throw them away, or at least separate them from everything else, because I'm like, okay, I can't use this thing. It's not gonna help. But then I found pen luck. Several years back, I was when I started getting into Lego conventions and getting to see other people's exhibits in person. There was an excellent display by Penluck, Pennsylvania Lego User Group. They're very well known for their trains, huge train layouts. They have great landscapes to go along with them. And one of the things that's a staple of their shows from that layout is this recycling center. It's a mock full of broken parts. So any Lego pieces in any colors are piled up in there in their own like sorted color bins as like a refuge, as a way of working with them in universe to recycle them. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. So the best thing that I've done up to this point with broken pieces, I'll keep them away from the original thing they came from, of course, but I will still keep them together. What I have right now, I have a Lego Aquarium that is in the Lego room. It's basically a big lizard tank turned fish tank. It has a whole bunch of pebbles on the bottom, and I have a designated area in there that I call the shipwreck. So
Oh.
it's just a various amount of broken pieces, as if it's like deteriorating old things that washed away at sea, that divers could explore through, that fish life could go through, kind of making its own thing, adding a bit of story to it.
That's cool. That's really awesome. I love seeing how people use Lego bricks to create pieces of art that really work in real life, and you can not just displays, but I really like what Lego did on social media and on YouTube. I don't remember what it was called. I think it was what was that thing? It was a short-lived thing where they had celebrities and different people do things.
Ridiculous?
No, it was not too long ago. It was a few months ago. They had what's the girl that does gymnastics for Olympics? She was on it.
Huh.
I can't remember.
You know what?
I can't remember.
I'm actually not sure what that thing was.
It was well, they had different people on there. They also released a trailer with it. Like a video with the guy and the bunny. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh,
Recreate the world.
Yeah.
Rebuild the world. Rebuild the world. That was
Rebuild
it.
the world. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've blocked that out of my head because all I saw was a trailer, a couple of advertisements. That's what they are. They are advertisements.
Yeah.
In Times Square, just had a whole block of $1 million billboard ads of the things you see on the websites.
Wow. Yeah, the Lego group went all out.
Very inventive video. I thought that was very creative, but at the end of the day, it's just taking another art form in describing Lego, which is very cool. Every once in a while, they do that.
Yeah.
There's one I really want to find again. I so far haven't found it, but I used to watch it. I want to say around 2009, 2010, somewhere in that range. They had a handful of those kinds of artsy videos from some other studio or something involved with it using Lego. One of my favorite ones from that was about some inventor, someone that's working at a workshop. And he's just kind of sitting still. He's, struggling to find a new idea, but it has something pop up in Lego form. And it takes him to this factory with these separate rooms. They all have these different light bulbs at different... It's actually shaped in a way where it's like a half-done idea. It's almost done idea. You get to see the creativity with it.
Yeah.
That's what it's encouraging. But the way the video itself was presented was very unique for Lego. And I would love to watch that again.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact name of it. If it was something... outstanding.
Yeah.
But I remember exactly what the video was like.
Yeah. Yeah, they I don't know if you saw, but on Instagram they put out a few videos where they talk to different people about how Lego relates to them, and one that I specifically remember is there was a guy in I think it's like some British museum, or it's like a natural history museum in Britain, and what he did was he studied like insects and animals and their skeletons and stuff. He used Legos and Technic to create frames that could like magnify on them and stuff like that. And it was like a stand to hold them made out of Technic bricks. And he said he brought it into his coworkers and his boss, and they were like, "Oh, so you just play with these toys for a living?" And he showed them what it did, and they were really impressed by it. I thought it was an interesting little thing that Lego did. I don't know why they stopped it. I thought it was cool, but it's interesting to see.
Because I feel like I saw one of those recently about two YouTubers, where it was about people who never met each other before. They didn't have any other siblings, but were always building with Lego, and they started to connect with each other online. They met up in person. I believe they live in Australia, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And even the families were talking about like how the other person is like a brother to them.
That's awesome.
Being able to bring people together from different areas.
Yeah, it's so cool to see how Lego brings people together online. That's one thing I've noticed, especially with the community that we all share, is that it's very open, and I would say for the most part, it's a pretty not safe, a pretty, like the opposite of toxic. I can't think of the word. It's a pretty good place.
It's very positive.
Very positive place. Like almost anyone is accepted, and it's.
And if somebody's starting up a project, you will see some people backing behind them. One of my favorite projects from the community, I remember years ago, 3Brick Friends used to be more involved on YouTube with the community and everything before starting his own business. And he had a project to basically a fundraiser that was helping out for a charity. And he would only ask for the community of either Lego bricks or the funding to get Lego bricks. He created an amazing daisy mosaic sculpture model and auctioned that off and used the money for charity.
That's awesome.
So it was a great way of integrating people together in all different ways, of being like all kinds of people that had different parts, or just the means to help out somebody that was in need.
Yeah, I see that quite a bit.
Also a good example of that. They're always finding ways of gathering collections of Lego together and repurposing them for people who didn't have those available to them.
Yeah. Over the years, I've seen quite a few different things like that really just make me step back and look at everything as a whole and think to myself that I'm really proud of the people here. I remember one thing a few years ago. I live in Texas, so when Hurricane Harvey happened, I remember it was all over the news nationwide, and there was all these things. My school sponsored a school down there and stuff like that. But I remember one thing specifically is there was a group of people that started a Lego fund where they collected sets. And Zbricks, not to go back to Zbricks, but I remember he donated a bunch of sets he had bought to part out to this thing, and it just makes me think, and a lot of other people did it too. I just remember watching that video, and it makes you really think that I don't really know, because obviously, like, there's a lot of other people out there that are good and donate, and they're not just into Lego, but somehow I've noticed that the people that are interested in Lego, I don't know if it's like some weird genetic trait or something, but it seems that we're all, like, everyone in this community is super generous, and they're all extremely positive and supportive. I mean, stuff happens. There's disagreements, but nothing really sticks. Everything's it just ends up well in the end, and that's really nice.
I think the fair way to say it is that by having a down-to-earth, colorful, and creative medium like Lego, it brings out the good in people.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that this thing can be fun, I can have a good time with this, and people are building all kinds of stuff with it. Who am I to judge? Who am I to put down what they're working on or what they like about it? I've definitely seen toxicity at times, but like you said, nothing resonates too long, or things get worked out. Sometimes it's just a matter of perspective, but it is a very inviting place, and I'm glad that it's been that way for a while. It's only getting better from there, and it's really just wonderful. It's like a convention all the time.
Yes.
Getting to see so much going on.
Yeah.
Feeling so involved with it, but never feeling left out.
Yeah. Everyone's always doing something different, but the great thing about Lego, and something that the Lego group supports with their sets, particularly nowadays, is building together. We are different. We build different things, but we're all really building up a community together. And that's really important, is to have a community of supportive people. And I see that all the time. Thank you so much for watching this new episode of the Zbricks Show. It's been really awesome talking with Joey, and I really hope you enjoyed this new format. If you like this format and that the last episode where it's a little bit shorter, I know my old videos used to be like an hour plus, so I really hope you're enjoying this new, shorter format where it's more edited down and more coherent. I really hope you like that. If you don't, let me know. If you do, let me know as well, because I just want to hear your opinions. Yeah, exactly. It's always good to be critiqued. It's always good to be critiqued. There's nothing wrong with it, unless you're just not critiquing and you're just being rude.
To help everyone else get better.
Yes, it really helps. So even if you think you're being rude or something, it's not. Well, it can be rude, but critiquing is very important. So let me know if there's something you don't like, if there's audio issues. I'll try to fix everything I can in the next episode, which will be a week from when you see this one. It'll be about 2 weeks from when I'm recording this, but it'll be 1 week from when you see this. So the next person who's gonna be on the show
by 2, carry the 6.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah. I think the next person you're going to see on the show is going to be Maniac4Bricks, back again. He was in Season 1 in the Lost episode with Ash and Flash. So we're not going to lose the episode this time, and we're not going to live stream it, because that was a mistake. So you'll see him next week. I promise it's going to be a fun episode. So I'll see you all then. Have a great day. Have a wonderful week. Zbricks out.